How about you, Deputy? How you with wringing necks, huh?
What if I told you that one of the greatest legends of American cinema, Gene Hackman, has fallen prey to a ruthless betrayal orchestrated by none other than his own flesh and blood? Today, the police have officially reopened the investigation after unearthing a chilling trove of new evidence. A hidden room beneath the basement, security footage from a neighbor's camera, unsent letters, fingerprints, and DNA on a cigarette butt, all pointing directly to Christopher Allen Hackman, his only son. This was no random accident. This was a meticulously calculated crime that's sending shockwaves through Hollywood. What drove Christopher to such lengths? Could this be a sinister plot to seize control of his father's multi-million-dollar fortune, or does it conceal an even darker secret buried deep beneath the surface? And what role does the ex-wife play, the woman still nursing bitter resentment from a divorce decades past in this twisted scheme? The answers will leave you reeling in disbelief. Join us on this journey, a relentless pursuit of justice for one of the most towering icons in cinematic history. The investigation has been reopened, and the police are meticulously combing through every page of the case file, from evidence collected at the scene, witness statements, forensic reports, to the tiniest overlooked detail. They're hunting for inconsistencies, unanswered questions, and clues that slip through the cracks. After days of relentless digging, the FBI has officially named the prime suspect in this case, Christopher Allen Hackman, the sole son of the victim. Why did the authorities zero in on Christopher so swiftly? The answer lies in a series of jaw-dropping discoveries the FBI uncovered just days ago. While combing through the crime scene, an investigator stumbled upon a hidden room in the basement, the single most critical breakthrough in the case. The chamber, measuring 4 meters wide and 3 meters high, was fully equipped with amenities and featured a back door leading straight to the garage. The key, tucked away behind a wall-mounted painting. At first, police assumed it was a precaution typical of celebrities like Gene Hackman, a safe haven for natural disasters or emergencies. But what they found inside painted an entirely different picture. Perched atop the highest shelf of an old bookcase sat a metal box containing dozens of letters addressed to a mysterious figure referred to only as C, penned over nearly a decade. These pages brimmed with sorrow, disappointment, and profound regret. In one letter, Gene wrote, "I know I wasn't the father you needed. I know I failed you in ways I can't undo. But I don't know how to mend what's broken between us. I hope one day you'll understand." The yellowed sheet sketched a portrait of a fractured father-son bond, strained by distance and unresolved wounds. Investigators couldn't help but wonder, was C Christopher Allen Hackman, or someone else entirely? Then on a table in the center of the room, they found 3 unwashed teacups and a glass ashtray holding 2 cigarette butts that looked freshly smoked. This sparked immediate suspicion. Gene didn't smoke, never had, so who left those cigarettes behind? At first glance, it seemed that just hours before Gene and his wife Betsy passed, they'd entertained a guest. But why host someone in a secret basement room instead of the main living area? DNA testing on the cigarette butts revealed they belonged to a male not found in any state criminal database. Here's the kicker, that same DNA was detected on the back door's handle. This mystery man had entered through the rear, smoked 2 cigarettes inside, and left fingerprints only where gloves couldn't cover. A thorough search from the basement to the garage turned up more footprints. Deep, heavy, sedimentary tracks behind the garage suggested a man's presence. The trail stretched from the edge of the property, through thick brush, to the back porch, then vanished. No return tracks. Only 2 possibilities made sense. Either the person never left, or they exited by another route. Since Gene's home lacked security cameras, police turned to nearby neighbors for help. Luck struck when one had a camera angled toward the road near the secret room. Grainy footage revealed a tall figure, likely male, moving deliberately toward the hidden space. Soon after, Gene, Betsy, and their 2 dogs approached, though only the couple entered. The strangest detail, when the mystery man emerged, the dogs, known for barking at anyone, even the mailman, remained utterly silent, as if they knew this stranger intimately. Another oddity surfaced during the scene analysis. Gene's heart medication was missing. With a severe heart condition, he adhered strictly to his prescription schedule, yet no trace of the drugs turned up in the search. If they'd run out, there'd be refill records. There weren't. If he'd stopped taking them, leftover pills would remain. None did. It seemed the medication had been deliberately removed. Piecing it all together, police narrowed their focus to a suspect profile: a tall man, a smoker, and someone deeply familiar with the Hackman household, close enough to know the layout and keep the guard dogs calm. Investigators now believe this wasn't a typical violent murder, but a calculated, cold-blooded act of neglect, a scheme with a grander motive: seizing the family fortune. Every thread of evidence now points in one unmistakable direction: Christopher Allen Hackman, Gene's own son. Beneath the harsh glare of the interrogation room lights, Christopher Hackman, the only son of cinematic legend Gene Hackman, finds himself at the heart of a gripping investigation. Confronted with a barrage of questions about the mysterious deaths of his parents, he stands resolute, offering nothing but stony silence, refusing to utter a word without his lawyer present. Determined to unearth the truth, the FBI has launched an expansive interview campaign, tracking down statements from everyone close to the Hackman family, their singular mission to pinpoint the motive driving Christopher's actions. Testimonies from friends, colleagues, and even Faye, Jean's embittered ex-wife, paint a grim picture of a father-son relationship riddled with fractures. Gene Hackman, a titan in his career, was a man who faltered when it came to forging family ties, especially with Christopher. The son, a troubled soul, wrestled with addiction, mounting debts, and an insatiable hunger for his father's approval. Financial records reveal Christopher drowning in a sea of liabilities, unpaid taxes, overdue loans, and gambling losses that spiraled out of control. It turns out he'd been reaching out to his father incessantly in those final weeks, pleading for cash to dig himself out of his monetary abyss. Their phone calls revolved around one thing: money, an investigator disclosed. And Christopher was growing more desperate by the day. The probe suggests his financial turmoil wasn't just a product of poor choices, it hinted at a far more sinister scheme. He'd been covertly maneuvering to seize control of his father's estate, even contacting Gene's financial advisor in an attempt to meddle with the will. Yet, for reasons unknown, Christopher had somehow learned the contents of that will beforehand. Gene had left everything to his wife, Betsy. Christopher's name was nowhere to be found. Investigators believe this exclusion may have been the spark that ignited the inferno. It could have pushed him over the edge, a forensic psychologist speculated. Another chilling clue surfaced, exposing a plan crafted with chilling precision. Though Christopher supposedly resided in Oregon, records show he rented a car in Santa Fe on February 24th, 2 days before the crime. That vehicle was later discovered abandoned in a motel parking lot 6 miles from Gene's home. Inside the room, investigators uncovered a small notebook bearing a haunting scrawl, "You shouldn't have cast me out," written with such furious force it nearly tore through the page. The timeline of the crime began to crystallize. Christopher arrived in Santa Fe on the 24th, purchasing duct tape, gloves, and a burner phone on the 25th. On the fateful night of the 26th, between 7 and 9 p.m., Gene and Betsy were killed. Neighboring security footage captured a figure matching Christopher's height and build entering the Hackman property via a rear trail. Though the video was grainy, identification experts are adamant it was him. When apprehended on March 6th, Christopher didn't resist. No denials, no excuses, just a single icy remark. It always had to end like this. Spoken without a flicker of emotion, those words seared themselves into the minds of everyone present, a silent confession etched before the court of conscience. In the end, forensic evidence sealed the case. DNA from the cigarette butts, fingerprints on the lock, all matched Christopher unequivocally. Now the final pieces of this deadly puzzle snap into place, revealing a damning portrait of a son consumed by rage. Gene Hackman's death wasn't a tragic fluke. It was the inevitable fallout of a family shattered by years of neglect, festering anger, and wounds left to rot unresolved. With the evidence stacked against him, the police swiftly issued an official arrest warrant for Christopher. A merciless conspiracy, crafted with meticulous care, had been laid bare. He was charged with a litany of crimes: financial fraud, obstruction of justice, falsifying legal documents, and orchestrating a scheme to seize his inheritance. The court wasted no time delivering its verdict. Christopher was convicted on multiple counts, facing a future confined behind bars. His inheritance rights were stripped away, and Gene Hackman's estate was redirected to the charitable foundations he had championed in life. The Hackman family was left to bear the weight of this unimaginable tragedy. The anguish of those who remained defied description, losing a father, a mother, and now grappling with a brother turned murderer within their own bloodline. The Hackman lineage, shattered and steeped in sorrow, would carry this scar for the rest of their days. Years after the sentencing, Christopher finally broke his silence, voicing regret. He admitted to his crimes, confessing that he would live with the consequences for the rest of his life. His admission sparked a divided response from the public. Some extended sympathy, while others dismissed it as a belated, hollow apology that changed nothing. Reflecting on this harrowing saga, one can't help but shudder at a brutal truth: greed can twist kin into foes. Gene Hackman and his wife didn't merely succumb to illness or fate, they were undone by betrayal from within their own circle. Gene's life stands as a testament that no amount of fame or fortune can shield us from the invisible daggers wielded by those we trust most. This isn't just the tragedy of one family, it's a stark warning to us all. Tread carefully among those around you, for sometimes the greatest danger lurks in the one you least suspect. So what do you think of this heart-wrenching conclusion to the story of Gene Hackman and his wife? Gene Hackman spent a lifetime delivering unforgettable performances to the world, yet his final role seems to be one he never signed up for: the victim of a crime orchestrated by his own son. It's a truly sorrowful curtain call for the legend that was Gene Hackman. Our video draws to a close here today. We want to extend our heartfelt thanks to you for always standing by and supporting our channel. It's because of viewers like you that our content continues to grow richer and better. What are your thoughts on Christopher? Does he truly regret his actions, or are there still secrets waiting to be uncovered? Please share your opinions in the comments below. If this story gripped you, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and share the video with others.